Boom! What's going on, people? It's your boy John. Come back here again with another video. How is it going? Hope you're having a pleasant day. I hope you enjoy this jersey that I'm wearing, which is called "Come with me if you want to lift." Yeah. So this is where you find the guy if you want to lift. Stupid puns make the best intros, and you know it. Anyway, what's going on? I was just watching a video by Nature's Underground. Now, if you guys have been watching my recent videos, you've known that I've fallen off the the winning streak that I was on. Okay, the self-imposed winning streak that I was on. I've fallen off a bit. Okay, and by that I mean, very simply put, I've gone into pleasure. That's it. That's what it means when I say I've fallen off the bandwagon. It's not like I've done something stupid or I've fucked up in this great way. It just means that I've fallen back into my old ways in terms of pleasure seeking. Okay, and this is the biggest failure I think that you will run into on this journey. Originally you had so much pleasure. Let's put it this way. Originally you had so much pleasure, you felt like you weren't doing enough. Okay, your anxiety was a product of passivity. It was a product of you not making moves in your life to where you want to be. Okay, essentially the man that you want to create, you weren't creating that man. Have you ever noticed when you're on longer streaks, or when you're just doing things in general which you want to do, i.e. when you're creating the man you want to be, or creating the man you admire, other men or other people follow you. Yeah, they follow you, they respect you, they listen to you, they acknowledge your words, they pay heed to you a lot more carefully than, say, when you weren't doing that, when you weren't creating the man that you wanted to be. Okay, I've noticed this, and it really just goes back down to, are you following your purpose? Okay, but that's a broad and vague term, so let's not use the term purpose. Let's just simply say, are you creating or forging the man that you want to be? Are you doing that? Is today a day where you're like, okay, I need to beat the person I was yesterday? Okay, let's go. It's like every day is a day of competition. Do you have that mindset? Because if you don't, you are going to fall off the bandwagon. The reason is because there's no competition. There's no adversity. There's no problem to overcome. Okay, we're men, and to put it very bluntly, we are meant to overcome problems. That's when we feel like we're at our best. When we're conquering things. Conquering, the simple definition of conquering is simply overcoming difficulties or overcoming problems. This is what men do. Okay, and we die in the process. We die. It's a fact. We do die. We're so into this ideology, or this idea, that the reason I'm alive and my purpose is simply to overcome problems, and if I die doing that, that's okay, because that's why I'm here. I die doing a courageous act. Okay, and it's not the outcome of the act that is important, it's the act itself. The courageous act itself is more important than the outcome, and this is something that is very, very important. I think this is what separates the losers from the winners. Because when you're a loser, when you've got the loser mentality, I've had the loser mentality, and I can feel it, because it's always there. You don't ever get rid of the loser mentality, or the beta male, or the weakness within you, or whatever you want to call it, right? You don't ever get rid of it. It's always there. It's a part of you. It's your lower self, basically. It's always there, and it's always waiting for the attack. It's waiting for the king, the higher self, so to speak, the one that you're trying to create, the person that you're being, the person that you're trying to emulate, the person that you are becoming every day. It's waiting for that higher self to sort of become a bit lazy, to become a bit complacent, you know. It waits and pounces just like a lion, like a tiger. Actually, no, because your lower self is a coward. So your lower self is waiting for an opportunity of weakness in your higher self. That's what it is. That's what it's doing. It's waiting for you to be weak, just for a moment. You know, when that moment of self-doubt creeps in, am I doing the right thing? Does nofap work? I'm not seeing any progress in the gym. Fuck that. I asked out this girl, she rejected me. I ain't gonna ask out another girl. When that moment of self-doubt creeps in, your lower self is waiting for that chance, so that it can grab onto that thought and it begins to re-energize itself. that doubt, that little bit of self-doubt, which is normal, healthy. Having self-doubt as a human being is a gift. It stops you from being stupid and making stupid decisions in your life. Is there a time when self-doubt becomes too much? Of course, but you need self-doubt. Okay, don't ever try and tell yourself I need to get rid of self-doubt. No, what you need to do is make sure that self-doubt is critical. It's not psychological, because the moment you become psychologically identified with that self-doubt, that's when your lower self comes back in. And when your lower self gets hand of that self-doubt, that's when it starts to drag in the other fears and the other doubts. And when it starts to overwhelm you with this lucid, hypnotic haze of self-doubt and negativity, it slowly starts to reel you in, and it says, hang on, brother, these fears and anxieties and problems that you have, they're too overwhelming. You're not going to be able to overcome them. They're too many. There's too much. So come back to the dark side. Come back. Start smoking weed. Get drunk. Watch porn. Yeah, sleep in. Don't go do your push-ups. Don't take your cold shower. It's not needed. It's not needed. You're not going to overcome these problems anyway, so you might as well just enjoy yourself in the meantime, right? You're going to die. Life's meaningless. So you might as well just enjoy every day with the fullest amount of pleasure possible. Just have pleasure, man. Enjoy yourself. Just enjoy it. Don't care about the future. Don't care about the past. Fuck the goals. Fuck the virtues. Fuck reading. Just enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. And then, of course, you go and you do that. Okay, let's say you are in a little bit of a weak space or a weak headspace, and you become enticed. You become enticed by the lower self. So you say, fuck it, I'm done with this journey. There is no journey. What journey? What is this? Fuck this journey, man. I'm going back to my old self. You go back, go and do that for a few days, and now you'll realize why you went on the journey in the first place. Because those first few weeks, months, years even of self-development that you did to reach your highest potential, you will have remembered. You will have remembered the good. You will have remembered the strength that you cultivated, and the stoicism, the virtue, and the calmness that you felt. On a daily basis, the days became enjoyable even though nothing was happening. But you know what you were doing? You were sacrificing every day. Every day you were sacrificing pleasure for something better. It doesn't have to be something big. You just do one courageous act every day, and that could be as simple as taking a cold shower or doing 60 push-ups when you usually do 50. It's not a big thing. It's a tiny. Courage is something that you practice in increments. And then when the time comes to be courageous in its ultimate form, for you it's not much of a choice in the sense of, do I do this courageous act or do I not? It's more like, I just do it because I always do this anyway. I always take the hard option anyway. You know, when I'm doing my push-ups, if I do 60, but I haven't gone over 60 yet, I'll always do 65. I'll always do at least one more rep to beat my last record. That's who I am. If I'm in the cold shower and I usually do 3 minutes in the cold shower, I'll do 3 minutes 30 because I always want to beat my last record. Yeah, well, I've been doing meditation differently nowadays. Before I used to lie down, now I'm sitting up, it was difficult for me at first because my legs would start to shake and I'd tremble a lot. So I could only manage 3 minutes at first, just sitting up like this with my hands in my lap and just being very quiet like this. I could only do 3 minutes before. I slowly just increased the time by 1 minute. So now I'm at 6 minutes. First it was 3, then it was 4, 5, now it's 6, now it's 6:30, then it's going to be 7, and soon it's going to be 10, then it's going to be 15, 20 minutes. There's going to be one day, where I'm going to be sitting here for an hour, okay? So it happens in increments. When you make that your way of being, I do difficult things on a daily basis. I face adversity on a daily basis. Do you know why you're facing adversity? Do you know why you're sacrificing? You're sacrificing and you're facing adversity because you know that life is suffering. Life is difficult. It's not easy. So when you indulge in comforts and you throw yourself in pleasure, like 100%, you just have no holding back. You just go into pleasure. The reason you feel anxiety is because you know that life is tough. You know that life is suffering. And you ain't prepared for it because you're just comfortable. You're just comfortable. You're always comfortable. You're always in pleasure. You're always at rest. That's not the same as being calm. Being calm is being alert, but also being moderate. Yeah, you're not over attacking certain things, you're not overreacting, you're responding with a certain poise. That's different. But being in comfort is being lazy. That's called being passive. That's called being mediocre. That is not a calm state. That's a very agitated state, actually. Because whilst the body is calm, the mind is chattering. I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm not prepared for this, I'm not prepared for that. Self-doubt and anxiety and guilt and all of these things then come as a result, as a side effect of being in too much pleasure, because we're hardwired to do difficult things. That's why you can take a day or two off your hard-nosed self-improvement journey, but any more than that, you're going to start feeling shit. It's just a fact. Because as a man, you are hardwired for hard work. That's why weightlifting and going to the gym on a regular basis is something that shouldn't even be a big revelation to people. It's just like, okay, if I don't have anything hard to do, at least I have that. At least I've got the gym. At least I've got the weights. At least I can challenge myself with iron. I don't need to wait for some big civil war to happen. I can just do it there. This is peacetime. I can challenge myself in peacetime. The gyms are closed now, so order yourself some weight or do some body weight workouts. You know, there's always ways you can challenge yourself. It doesn't end. Yeah, it doesn't end. So this is just a quick little message before this the second lockdown hits, because the second lockdown is an opportunity for you to really get back on the bandwagon, to really get back on the horse, saddle up, right? Put your fucking what's it called, that gun, the repeater gun, I don't know what you call it, the Smith and Wesson, I don't know. Put the gun on, put your cowboy hat on, right? Get ready for war. Prepare yourself for war, okay? I think it was Alexander the Great or some other great philosopher or warrior or king or emperor or whoever, some great guy or whatever, said that it's in peacetime, if you sweat more, you bleed less in war. It's true. It's true. You can't let mediocrity flow into your life when things are still, when things are calm, when the outside seems a bit too peaceful. You got to look at it with suspicion. You got to be like, okay, well, things are good, but I need to challenge myself still. In fact, if things are good, I need to challenge myself even more, because when shit does hit the fan, and it will, you need to be prepared. Like in that moment, you can't be like, oh, shit's hit the fan, I need to think about this, I need to ponder, I need to come up with a strategy, you know, let me just lie down on the couch and just fall asleep, right? You can't do that. You have to be ready to respond instantaneously, which is why every day is a battle. Every day is a battle against weakness. Every day is a battle against any sort of force that is trying to pull you into pleasure and comfort, okay? And look, you will only learn this from experience. I have only learned this from experience. When you go into comfort and you fall and seep into it, all of your anxieties and fears and problems are going to just amplify, because you're not dealing with them. You're not dealing with the issues you have in your life. Pardon me. And if you're not dealing with these problems, of course they're going to haunt you. Of course they're gonna torment you. Okay, it's just a fact. So to really wind this video up, how do you avoid falling into passivity and mediocrity? Okay, what do you do? What do I do? Because I'm talking from experience here. Recently, I told you I've fallen off the bandwagon a bit. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, this is one of these outlets that I have where I can just be completely truthful and tell you exactly what's going on in my life, rather than lying or trying to cover it up. So I'm going to be completely honest. What am I going to do going forward? Waking up early is number one. Okay, it's so essential, man, because sleeping in, your first act of the day where you're seeking pleasure is sleeping in. That's your first act of pleasure. You've got to take that away from you. You've got to take that away from the lower self now. Okay, and you've got to jump out of bed. I mean, jump out of bed with no hesitation, no thinking, I need to rest for 5 more minutes. No. It's instantaneous. You get out of the bed and you go and do 10 push-ups or 20 or 30 or 40, however many you do. Just do something. Do some exercise. It doesn't have to be long. Just enough to get the blood pumping and the body physical, and the body gets the message that, okay, it's time to attack. It's time for war. Your body, your brain releases cortisol when you wake up in the morning. That's where you get that shot of anxiety. Use it. Use it to be productive. Don't just sit on it and ruminate over stupid things. Get up and do your thing. That's why it's good to have a plan for the whole day, something you're going to do. What's your main goal for that day? What are you working towards? You've got to take one day at a time, because if you take the whole life, in one spectrum, you will overwhelm yourself. Choose a difficult act to do every day, okay? And when that becomes easy, make it harder or do something else. Choose a difficult act. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you do that difficult act every single day, you will create the best version of yourself. Of course, all of us have this this thing that we're doing, of course, but we're moving away from NoFap, man. We're moving away from it. It's like, this is history, okay? Yes, when you fall back into your old habits, it starts to grab you again with its tentacles, because it's a very seductive poison. It's a seductive poison. That's what it is. I'm not going to say that porn doesn't have any seductivity to it, or it doesn't have any seduction to it. It does. Oh yeah, it does. It has seduction. That's why it's even more dangerous. It's the most seductive drug out there. It's the most seductive vice, in my opinion, of this generation. And for you to say goodbye to that, and to constantly every day fight it, or fight your urges to go back to it, you're above 90% of the population. You're above 90% of people who aren't even considering leaving their comfort states behind. You're doing it. And if you're feeling shit right now, if you're feeling like you're not doing enough, if you feel like you're not there yet, you feel disappointed with yourself, you're like, fuck, I just haven't done what I need to do. Good. Believe me, good. That's a good thing, man. It's a good thing, because 90% of people are content. Mediocrity is content with being mediocrity. If people were not happy with being mediocre, they wouldn't be mediocre, okay? But the thing about mediocrity is, whilst it's a comfortable state, it's also one that you can just complain. That's all you do. You complain and you argue, and you find discontent in everything you can possibly find. But it doesn't really provide any benefit to your life whatsoever. You're just in a shit place, and you're just complaining about shit things. But if you're in the state of mediocrity, or you've fallen into mediocrity, and you don't like it, excellent. That's a great starting point, because you're one of those self-aware people who's realised that, hang on a minute, I don't want to be mediocre. I don't want to be stupid. I don't want to be boring. I don't want to be just a slop, just a couch potato who doesn't move, whose joints hurt, who I just feel like I'm not. I don't feel like a man. I feel like a fucking boy. I don't even feel like a boy, man. Even a boy, even a child has more energy than you do. So you don't even feel like that. You just feel like a subhuman who's just surviving on dopamine fixes throughout the day. Your first task, gentlemen, is removing any vice that you have, especially that one vice, because that's the one vice that's keeping all the other vices intact, so to speak. It really is. Once you get rid of that one vice, everything else will start to fall away. Unless, of course, you're waiting for an outcome. If you're waiting for a certain outcome, if you're waiting for some result, some benefit, some place in the future where you're going to be like, I'm fulfilled, look, that is going to be your failure point. Because when you've done 6 months of NoFap and you've made so many improvements, you've done so many new things, you've made so many vast improvements to your personality, your life, your social skills, your weightlifting, everything. You've learned so many new skills, you've just made moves. They won't matter 6 months down the line when you look at the results. You're like, well, I'm not happy with the results. I guess NoFap isn't for me, so boom, let me go back to my old habits. Don't wait for an outcome. Don't look to the future for a particular thing or reward that you want. Be content with the activity and the courage and the discipline it takes to maintain facing adversity every day. When you don't jerk off or watch porn that one day, you've already faced adversity. It sounds sick and it sounds really puny, but for this generation, it makes sense. That one day where you don't look at that vice and indulge that fantasy, you have faced adversity. Because you're facing your true self. You're facing, okay, well, this is just a fantasy, something that I want to run away to for pleasure and comfort. But there's something I'm avoiding in real life. What am I avoiding? For many of us, it's actually real intimacy with the opposite sex. Or it's our business, or it's our studies, or it's making moves in your life. You're just avoiding it. That's what you're doing. You're avoiding it. You know you've got to do it, but you're just avoiding it. So if you're looking for new ways to procrastinate, and P, M, and O, that is the God, the holy trinity, or the devilish trinity, I should say, of procrastination and throwing your goals off for short-term pleasure. Those short-term pleasures don't mean anything in the long term, but the long-term sacrifices you make, or the short-term sacrifices you make rather, pay off in the long term. You don't jerk off today, you don't jerk off for 30 days or 6 months or whatever, those results will pay off. I mean, they will. It's a long-term investment. It is. Do you want me to make another video to tell you about the benefits? I don't think you do, man. I've made a lot. I've made tons now. I've made shit tons. But if you want me to make another video, I will. I will make another video telling you what this long-term investment is. Just in 6 months, mind you. Just in 6 months. So I'm not even going to tell you what happens in a year or 2 years or 3 years or 10 years. I'm not even going to tell you what the payoff of that is. That's going to be amazing. Unbelievable. You won't even be able to comprehend it. But at least 30 days. The 30 days investment that you make, that sacrifice that you do for those 30 days, it will pay off. It will pay off, man. I'll tell you that right now. If you don't believe me, there's 1,000 other channels on YouTube that will tell you it will pay off. Okay? So anyway, guys, I'm going to title this video Why Mediocrity Breeds Passivity, and why passivity breeds futility. Life becomes futile, becomes meaningless, becomes ridiculous, because materialism is the exact same as consumerism, and consumerism is exactly the same as being a hedonist, which is simply looking for pleasure. Pleasure, 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 pleasure. I want pleasure to be fulfilled. If you want to live a meaningless life, go fulfill that, because that will give you a meaningless life. Nature's Underground, or Nature Boy 3000, whatever his name is, he made a very good point here. He said that why are people who are rich, the wealthy, why are they unhappy with themselves? Why are they sad or depressed, or why do they feel like they're empty? Well, it's because they completely live in pleasure. They don't live in a life of adversity anymore. You see, it takes a certain mindset to even become successful. You've got to come from a pretty dark place to be successful, in my opinion. You know, the work ethic that it takes, the discipline, the perseverance, the daily grind, that is a lot of work. That is a lot of hard effort. So you've got to have one powerful reason as to why you're doing this in the first place. I mean, mine is simply, I don't want to be weak. I don't want to be a fucking pathetic loser. I don't want to be what I was. I don't want to be that. And that guy coming back, it's a day away. It's a day away, man. The old self that you ran away from, the one that, let me try and word this right. The person that you're working so hard every day to become, you're getting there, man. You're getting there every day. Congratulations. But you know the guy that you used to be, he's right there. He's right there waiting to come back. That should be your biggest fear on earth. It should be your biggest fear on earth, becoming that person again. Because that was hell. That was a life of hell. You don't want to go back to hell, man. You want to go to heaven. You want to go to heaven, man. And heaven is on earth, trust me. You can make heaven on earth. But you can also make hell. Hell is easier to go into because it doesn't take effort to get into hell. You just don't do good things and you do bad things. And doing bad things are easier than doing good things. Because bad things usually feel good right then and there, don't they? Bad things feel good now. Good things feel good later on. Worth thinking about. Anyway, that's going to be it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay strong, brothers. Stay strong. It's going to get tough, but hey, I have fucking faith in you, and I've got faith in me, and I've got faith in the universe. That this is what we're supposed to be doing. Okay? Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.